Welcome to the Tucson NetworKings podcast. I'm your host, Gordy along with master networker and sales guru, Don Zavis. Together, we talk about how to get the most of your business networking in Southern Arizona. We'll discuss tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, with some amazing people that know how to build lasting business relationships from this thing called business networking. So strap in and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to episode 5 of the Tucson NetworKings I'm your host, Gordy Siewert, with Don Zavis, the amazing co-host here. And today we've got
a strong word, but I'll take it.
We've got a very interesting episode. The name of this episode is Networking Without Networking, if that sounds great.
I love that.
Yes. We have with us Roger LaFaye. This guy, I first met him probably 8 or 9 years ago at a networking event. Mm-hmm. But the guy knows everybody in town practically, and he doesn't go to any networking events. So we're going to find out what that magic is, how he connects with people, how he basically everyone knows him, everyone knows he's a great guy, mm-hmm. and we need to know that. So Roger, tell us a little bit about how long you've been at Tucson, what you do, and then we'll dive into a little bit later about how you do what you do. So.
Okay. Well, good deal. Again, Roger LaFaye. I've been here since 1980. I moved up to Southern California. I didn't know anybody. Went to CDO way back in the day. And moved away a couple of different times, but Tucson keeps drawing you back.
Okay. It's funny how that happens.
It does. I moved away 3 times, and 3 times you're back. Here we go.
I heard you played for a certain
football
sport team?
in college, yeah.
Certain sport team here in town?
Yep.
All right.
A little bit here, a little bit there, and good times.
Okay.
You know, it was a good goal, good dream, and Coach told me was the kindest person you could ever meet.
Awesome.
So
you're a Tucson
guy.
Guy,
you know, even though
sure. Went to U of A?
I talk a little funny, from Jersey, but it's just Tucson, just a great place to be, and the people are very kind, very warm. This is a great place to be. I enjoyed raising my kids here.
So what do you do now?
I do merchant services. I work for a company called My Camp Solutions, located out of Scottsdale. Been doing this for about 13 years now, and I had a diverse background. I did several different jobs in the mortgage business, did some sales way back in the day of some other kind of sales. But one thing that was always key to me was never overpromise.
Okay.
And I always kept my word. So when I reach out to folks, when I went into merchant services, at that time we actually had 3-year contracts. So luckily, I had a good enough reputation, a good enough name that I would do what I said I was going to do. Okay. And I asked these folks if they'll give me a shot. Even though it was a 3-year contract, I hoped it would work. And lo and behold, it did. All and next thing you know, other things going on. But at the very beginning, just to get things off the ground, I did a lot of networking. You know, I would go to a lot of different networking events, but I was also setting a little precedent of taking folks out for a coffee or for a soda or go have lunch without trying to spend too much money. And as I'm getting to know those folks and they get to see who I am for real and what we can do to help them out, we set up a lot of referral partners that way. And we've kind of grown with that. And then I would even do my own little once a month, grab 5 people that I didn't think knew each other, and we'd go have lunch someplace.
Oh, nice.
And the whole idea was to have Dominic get to know Rachel and so on. And
you were connecting them up yourself.
Yes, and it was nothing beneficial to me. It wasn't I'm making a sales call. It was just I think you guys can all help each other because I'm already doing things with you guys.
There's our bell. Again. So we have an ongoing theme. Anytime that topic comes up of you connect other people first, it'll all come around to you.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna eventually we'll get a bell in here.
I like the bell idea.
It's an ongoing thing.
But I think that's also the people that are successful in networking.
Yeah.
they naturally get there. But it was interesting, and I don't want, please finish if you've got to finish, but I want to touch on something you said. And it is something that I've noticed. When you've done a lot of networking, even early in your relationship, you get what I call critical mass. So if you really network a lot for 1 or 2 or 3 years, then virtually for the next 10 years, you can walk into any group of people and know at least someone.
Yes.
So no matter where you are, so I see the investment. I suggest you continue to network, never stop, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you really make a commitment to it in the beginning, diligent and dutiful. But if for some reason you've got to back off, 4 or 5 years after that, you've planted so many seeds, even years after that, I'm sure to this day, you can walk into a room, see somebody you haven't seen for 5 years. They remember you, they make you feel comfortable. Now you've got a connection inside the room. So although networking I see as a lifetime thing, very clearly the seeds that you plant will come back to you many, many times over. So if you can't for some reason do it as diligently, again, you've planted this very strong foundation, and now you're going to reap those benefits for years and years, and they get to know you, and they feel comfortable with you, and they trust you, they recognize you're a man of your word, and then, now you become top of mind again.
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, you know what? I got this person that I need to introduce you to.
Yeah, I just the other day, actually, we've probably known each other pretty well for about a year now.
A couple years now.
Yeah, a couple years. And I told my wife, I'm going to go have lunch with Roger LaFaye. She goes, I remember him at the networking event. So she ran a small networking group called Tucson Networking Connections. She helped co-host that one. But she remembered him, from 7-8 years ago.
People remember the name. I mean, when you've got that's a very recognizable name. But when you remember it now, again, it kind of goes into your lexicon.
Remember the person, though.
Yeah, you may not talk to them for years, but then when the name comes up, they remember you fondly from the interactions you may have had years before. So yeah, absolutely, that's enormously, look at it in terms of investment. It's an investment of your time, but again, you're planting these seeds that really, really run deep, done correctly.
Speaking of investments, we're going to take a quick break with our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
The Tucson Network Kings podcast is brought to you by Sarah Souders, your local Tucson native real estate advisor with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty, where luxury is an experience, not just a price point. Feel welcome to contact Sarah today at 520-305-6974. Arizona license SA 708-354-000.
All right, welcome back. We have with us today Roger LaFaye from MyCamp Solutions. Roger and I go way back. He's a great guy. Seems to be known as the great guy in town. The guy networks without hitting a lot of networking events. He did a lot of early networking, which kind of set the foundation of who he is and how people like him and everything else. So you mentioned earlier that you do probably the secret sauce to what you do is you do a lot of one-on-ones.
Do a lot of one-on-ones in small groups.
Okay.
But I think the real key thing of it all is helping others, putting other people together.
Okay.
So I want to be a full resource. With the credit card processing, all my customers know that I'm not just the credit card guy. I'm a resource.
Right.
You need an air conditioning guy. I got a guy. You need a roofer. I got a guy. You need an accountant. I know somebody that I vetted. I think you would love to meet.
Yes.
And so that makes me a little bit more endearing to them. And then they'll say, you know what, you should go see my friend over here at this business because they're going to need somebody. Or I just heard something about that. So it kind of feeds on itself. But from back in the day of going to every networking thing around, now it's a little bit more specific, a little bit, not the shotgun approach. It's now more of the sniper approach. Targeted, yeah. So, so you go to like the Rotary
Club. We talked about that on our last episode. Yeah.
And it's a little different group and a little different dynamics, but it works very well because now you're sitting with somebody to get to know you a lot better, a lot faster.
Well, you mine the relationships deeper when you do it consistently.
Yes.
And I've seen people will go to this and then they'll never go back there again. Then they'll go to another one. And we have a great resource here for TucsonNetworking.com.
Yep.
And
NetworkingTucson.com.
I'm sorry, NetworkingTucson.com. And when you go there, there are a dozen plus. Yeah. But I see people that they'll go once and have a wonderful experience, by the way, and they won't go again. They'll go to another one, or they'll be like, and I'll say, well, how was that? And they go, oh, it's great. I got blah blah blah. And when was last? Oh, I didn't go back. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I think that you're right. I think it's the mining it deeper. Mm-hmm. People seeing you consistently, they recognize you're a person of character. And now you become top of mind, right? Maybe the first time you meet them, they don't have a referral for you. But after the next one or the next one or the next one, it's almost like their radar becomes attuned that, they hear the word credit card processing, and then all of a sudden now it's like, bang, okay, this guy, right? I got a buddy of mine that does this.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions for you. Number one, there are a few, I'd say a handful of credit card processing people that are out there networking. So how do you handle that? You walk into a room or an event or somewhere, and there's someone right there that does the same thing you do.
Does the same thing. I believe in myself. I believe in my company.
Okay.
And so I know that if we're going to go dollar to dollar, I know I'm going to win.
Okay.
You want customer service? Well, we're located in Scottsdale. Where are you located? Oh, the Philippines. Yeah, not so much.
Gotcha.
And you want products and services? Great. We've got 13 different point of sale systems in my office, but we've got hundreds of other partners that we work with. So it's not here one size fits all. You want something for your business? Well, great. We've got retail. We've got restaurants. We got you name what you want. We'll build it for you. And that sets us apart from our competitors in the world. They've got Clover, or they've got Square, or they've got one thing. Well, that's nice if you fit that. Henry Ford, any color you want, as long as it's black, right? Well, things change, and
so no issues
options.
there.
No options.
There.
So
all right.
It's nice to meet other folks and see what they're doing, and chat with them and wish them best of luck.
There you go. One other question. So you say, you'll ask someone, hey, coffee, lunch, whatever. How do you get past that? And now this happens a lot with networking. You're out there and you want to have a one-on-one with somebody. How do you get past that awkward conversation? Are you buying? Am I buying? Are we splitting the check? What? How does that work? Because that's a weird topic out there on a lot of people's minds.
Well, more than likely, I'm just going to buy.
Okay, so
avoid the conversation. Okay. I invited you; it's my invite. And if they say, "Oh no, please let me split," okay, great. If that's what you really want to do, great. Otherwise, it's on me.
Okay.
Even when I was struggling financially, I was betting on myself. Something good is going to happen from this.
I agree.
And so my goal every day is to have 4 conversations. Not 4 sales calls, not 4 appointments.
Just 4 meaningful conversations.
4 conversations, because you never know where that's going to go to and who's going to refer me, or I'm going to refer them out to XYZ company, and all of a sudden I'm more endeared to that person as well.
Okay.
One of the things I like to do is I tell them right up front, I'm picking up this check, you're picking up the second. There it is.
There you go.
Okay. And that does 2 things. A, that guarantees a second. But I also do something. You've heard me say this. I say yes to everything. Doesn't mean that I buy everything. So my goal would be, listen, tell me, right? Give me your pitch. If you've got a better mousetrap than what I have. So my position is, I always go in with me being sold. Right now, again, I may be a prospect, I may not be, but we always get around to me at some point in time. But I always go in with the idea of I say yes to everything, and I think that really works out well, because it takes away the who's selling who.
You're willing to listen to anything.
Absolutely, because if you have a better mousetrap, I mean, most people are very like, for example, you do credit card processing. Yep. Every person that has credit card processing should immediately say, you know what? I'm going to send you my information tomorrow. You look at it. Every person you meet that does credit card processing should immediately talk to you. Why? Because you might have a better mousetrap. Or you may not be, but you're not going to know, because people are so afraid of being sold. But again, that's why I think that people have they recognize you as a person of act in character. And I think that that's the one thing, especially in credit card processing, which is so cloaked in, mystique and, you can't possibly understand it. It's too complex for you. I think that having that resource around, I had a relationship with one of the two original ones. And let me tell you, when you try to call somebody, that never happens. They're like, you can chat with a bot or, go to our frequently asked questions. And I'm like, no, I like human beings.
Yes.
And it was a real challenge. Whereas I would call you and go, hey, this is it, and fix it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of great human beings, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. The Tucson Network Kings podcast is brought to you by Sarah Souders, your local Tucson native real estate advisor with Russ Lyons Sotheby's International Realty, where luxury is an experience, not just a price point. Feel welcome to contact Sarah today at 520-305-6974. Arizona license SA 708-354-000. All right, so welcome back to episode 5 of Networking Without Networking with the Tucson Network Kings. We have Roger LaFaye here from My Camp Solutions. This guy, everyone knows Roger, knows he's a great guy, but he's never anywhere. It's like, where is this guy? But he's everywhere. He's nowhere and everywhere all at once. So we talked about how he does a lot of one-on-ones. How is your follow-up from your one-on-one? What's your follow-up process? Are you just meet and greet and boop, go?
Oh,
or
no,
hope they remember you? Or what's your process?
I follow up with a thank you letter, a thank you card, or an email, a text. However we've been communicating, I will follow up with that as well. But on special occasions, a card, something handwritten, that's nice. Okay. And again, just to be a little different, because most people have gotten away from a card.
Right, right. Awesome. I know you. We've golfed together. And I know you use golf as a way of networking.
Yes.
Tell me how that's worked for you.
That's worked fantastic.
Okay.
And back before I knew how to golf, I would be the guy to go to the charity, the charity tournament. I would pay for the foursome. Basically, I've got somebody for 4 hours to talk to.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And we created some great relationships out of that and some strong, friendships out of it as well. I picked up a number of customers. I just picked up my largest client to be, all because of a golf tournament at Suelo a couple years ago.
Really? Wow.
And it's a game changer, but it's nice to get to see somebody. I know a lot of businessmen do that, and they'll watch their people that they're dealing with. And are you calm? Are you calm under pressure? Are you a cusser? Are you?
Do you cheat on the scorecard?
Are you? How do you?
Pencil whip.
And they look at that as, are you that kind of person?
Yeah.
Can I trust you?
Yeah, I've closed a couple deals on the golf course before.
I after 4 hours, can I tolerate being around you? Do we have a good chemistry? If something happens, are we going to be able to communicate it out? And you couldn't find that without having that 4 hours on a golf course.
Oh, exactly.
An hour and a half dinner or something like that. It's almost like that investment, again, that investment into the relationship, and it may take a while to percolate, because you said 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but they still continue to have the warm feelings towards you. And then when the opportunity presents itself and you're top of mind, they're like, you know what? Yeah, he was a great guy. I think he'll do great for this. Here you go.
Exactly. That's exactly how it's working. And it's been a great investment in my time and
relationships.
And it's been a fun time.
Yeah. Nothing better than
it's
hitting the ball around and green grass and blue skies. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a worse way to spend a morning.
Yeah.
There are.
Absolutely.
And, got a couple more charity tournaments coming up real soon.
You want to tell us about well, I don't know if this is going to air by the time yours comes around, but I know you have one coming up to benefit
Desert Crown Theater Company.
Okay.
It's we're playing out at Suelo on May 10th.
Okay. So if for some reason this comes out before then or after that, please support Desert Crown
Theater Company. Yeah, it's a Chosen Theater Company.
Yeah, out in Vail.
Okay. Vail in the Corona, Tucson area. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Well, I love the fact that you take it upon yourself also to do things that are charitable. Yeah. I think that's another hallmark of great networkers is that they see very much the relationship as a give and a get. Right? They're willing to invest their time, resources. It's not unusual. People that are great networkers, I know you're very connected in the charitable world. They have this great sense of service to the community. And I think that further endears them, again, for visibility, certainly. But at the same time, I believe that givers get. The more you put out in the world, the order of karma, the more you're going to get back.
So true.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Roger. Well, we appreciate you being on our show. You've given us some great tips on how to network without networking.
I love that line.
Well, thank you.
I love that. I'm going to steal that. That's so good. Forget Roger said it. I said it first.
Exactly. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to let everyone know how to get a hold of you, and if they're interested in any kind of merchant
you can
services
reach me at my number is 520-891-9880, and go check out our website, mycamp.com. It's micamp.com.
And every person who takes credit cards should call him and just check.
At least check. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, a couple of years ago, I had somebody, a consultant work with me, and said, "What's the average savings?" And so we went through all our proposals. The average savings is 18%.
Wow.
So it's a game changer. It's not just, we'll barely get. No, we want to make it.
That's huge.
End of discussion.
I love that.
Slam dunk. Let's go.
Customer for life.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, I was right.
That's how you get the referrals.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Roger. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Don, if
Thank
you don't
you,
have
guys.
anything,
Yeah, no, just go out and meet somebody.
stay connected, everybody.
You've just experienced the Tucson NetworKings podcast. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more great tips about networking in Southern Arizona. If you'd like to leave a question, comment, or future topic, you can email them to TucsonNetworKings@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to know more about all of the networking events happening in town, make sure and check out NetworkingTucson.com. That's NetworkingTucson.com. Know where to go.